and they were powder skiing. Like I had powder skis, but they were powder skiing on race skis, which is a nightmare, on their day off. They are at the Olympics. They have trained 25, 30 years for that week. And on a day off where they could get hurt or whatever, they went powder skiing. And they were whooping and hollering, and they would fall, and we'd spray them. And it was one of the best days ever. And I just think of that those guys chose the love of sport over saving their body, taking a day off, or whatever. And all of those are champions.
Welcome to the Spartan DEKA series on Spartan Up with Jarod Cogswell, Director of Sport, and Yancy Culp, Director of Programming.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 2 with Olympian downhill skier Doug Lewis. Oh, this is going to be a great second half, everybody. We're going to be talking about the strength and commitment of doing what you love and remembering the why behind it. We're going to be talking about work ethic as well as impact.
This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Honey Stinger, made with organic honey and delicious ingredients. Use the code SpartanAthlete30 at honeystinger.com for 30% off to help you sweeten the burn.
Doug, you obviously are at the top of the heat when it comes to your sport, and you've been teammates with some of the best. I mean, I think back to Bill Johnson. I lived in Oregon for a while, so Bill's a legend there. And then there was Tommy Moe. We were talking about it before the episode started. I remember in college watching Tommy Moe and us just screaming, as he came across that finish line. What would you consider those two in particular? Like even a Bodie Miller too. Like what separated them as far as being podium winners, gold medalists, compared to the rest of the pack?
Well, I think you got to go back. I always got to say it, the love of the sport. Tommy Moe still skis 125 days a year. Bodie's got too many kids, but he's skiing as much as he can. Phil and Steve Mayer still skiing. So you got to start with that. The other thing that I've always been a big proponent of, and I bring it into Elite Team, is having a goal and a dream. And there's a difference there. So I work with a lot of kids. They got the dream. I'm going to be Michaela Schifrin. I'm going to be Marcel Hirscher, whatever, that dream. And I love dreams. Like goals and dreams are big. But what I tell the kids, and the most important part, is for that dream to become a goal, you've got to commit. And that's what separates the champions. Everybody can say, I want to win a gold medal, but the ones that turn that dream into a goal by commitment, and I'm talking about commitment that you feel in your belly, that makes you sick, that makes you excited, that makes you get up off the couch and go out in the rain and do hill sprints in the mud when you're freezing. As soon as you commit, it's super easy but super hard. As soon as you commit, all the answers are answered for you. Should I get off the couch? Yes. Should I eat some chocolate, or should I eat some apples and nut butter, right? The answers are already answered for you as long as you make that commitment. And the champions I see make that commitment. They enjoy doing the nasty stuff because they've committed to something that's big and it's their North Star. And until you do that, until you commit full body, you're never going to get to where you want to go. And I see that in champions.
Yeah. Now, is there a difference between, I guess I'm looking for an answer here with the progression of the sport, like as somebody that really is passionate about climbing mountains and skiing down them. I see guys like Jeremy Heights, for example. I mean, not just, skiing off of these unbelievable mountains, but making GS turns down these mountains. What's the progression that you've seen from your time in the trenches playing the game at that high level to today?
Well, it's a whole lot. I wish I was an athlete today. It's, just the knowledge and the equipment is so changed. So it's easier to get good in skiing very quickly. The skis and the boots are amazing. What they groom and how they groom trails and set up training is amazing. So all that peripheral definitely has made it easier. For example, I probably ski technically better today than I did when I won my bronze medal because these skis are awesome. Like it's incredible. So what I see is all the peripheral is so much better and so much easier, but it still bakes down to that athlete. Do they want it? How bad do they want it? How much are they going to work? Is that dream a goal instead of something that doesn't really matter to them? So at the core, athletes are the same, whether it's 1936 Jesse Owens to Chloe Kim this year and Shaun White, because look at them. They're the ones with the goals, the hard work, the never say die attitude, and they've just nowadays they just have better equipment to use, and they can take their sport and their performance so much higher than we ever could.
Yeah, we just had Andrew Simpson on, a phenomenal coach to the coaches. He talks a lot about coaches who coach youth, and we talked about finding that wonderful balance as a coach, to where our kids wake up when they're 30, 40, 50 years old, and they look back on the experience and they said, wow, I really enjoyed that experience. Talk to us about maybe your experiences as a young athlete being coached, and then now coaching the youth to where that balance of my athlete wants to have a gold medal around their neck, but I also want them to wake up when they're 50 and look back and say, man, I freaking enjoyed those times.
Yeah. I, again, love the sport, and I will, if I can, take 3 minutes to explain this. I was an announcer at 2010 Olympics in Vancouver, and I was up at Whistler, and it rains a lot at Whistler. So when it rains on a downhill day, they cancel it because you can't ski in the rain, and up top will be snow. So as an announcer, I had the day off. So I got my skis and I got on the lift, and I said, I'm going to have the best day ever. It's probably 3 feet of powder at the top. No one's skiing because at the Olympics, the skier is closed. There's no public. It's just athletes and officials. On a day off on athletes, they usually just stay in. They don't do anything. They want to rest their body. So I'm like, I'm going to be alone with 3 feet of powder. So I get off the lift at the top of Whistler. Amazing. And I was super wrong. I was not the only one. There was the Americans, the Canadians, and the Norwegians. So it was Marco Sullivan and Ted Ligety and Bodie Miller and Axel Lund Svindal and Jansrud and Manny Osborne Paradis. And they were powder skiing. Like I had powder skis, but they were powder skiing on race skis, which is a nightmare, on their day off. They are at the Olympics. They have trained 25, 30 years for that week. And on a day off where they could get hurt or whatever, they went powder skiing. And they were whooping and hollering, and they would fall, and we'd spray them. And it was one of the best days ever. And I just think of that those guys chose the love of sport over saving their body, taking a day off or whatever. And all of those are champions. And so it starts with that love of sport. I don't know what question you just asked me, but I just wanted to get that story in because it starts with that, right? Coaches now. So you got to keep that love. If it's a powder day and you're a ski coach, do not train on that day. Go powder skiing, right? If it's a rainy day and it's cold, hike. Just set a 10-gate slalom and hike. You're going to stay warm and you're going to teach grit. Like you have to react and adapt and find the way to keep that athlete motivated and challenged. And challenge is a good word. And if I could just go into that just a little bit. Elite team, we found a way to challenge each individual athlete the perfect amount. And what I see so much is at some programs, the coaches are putting their challenge way up there and the kids will never make it and they just get bummed out, right? And negative. Or the challenge is super easy and this is nothing. It's, yeah, I can do that. The critical point to keeping them motivated and to build that confidence is to individually put that challenge just out of reach, that it's going to take grit, it's going to take effort, and it's going to take a lot of failure, but that's possible for them. And once they make that, oh my God, confidence. Then you put it up one notch higher, confidence. And that's how you build it. I see too many coaches and programs like, we're either doing this or we're making it super easy. And I think that kills motivation.
Yeah, it's almost like you're creating, building confidence like building a muscle.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. You break it down just a little and you big it up. Break it down just a little, build it up.
That's awesome.
We'll be right back to this interview, but first a little bit from today's sponsor, Honey Stinger. They have a special deal for Spartan Up listeners. Use the code SpartanAthlete30 at honeystinger.com to save 30%. Honey Stinger's waffles, energy chews, gels, and bars provide the fuel you need to push harder and go farther. For training and for racing. Convenient nutrition that tastes great and works. Honey Stinger is Spartan's official on-course nutrition because it's made with delicious honey and organic ingredients. Honey is an excellent refueling source, entering your bloodstream quickly, restoring depleted glycogen levels. Spartan's official on-course nutrition will elevate your performance for training and race day with honey-focused products. So go to honeystinger.com and use that code SpartanAthlete30 to save 30% off your organic waffles, chews, gels, bars, and hydration. All right, back to the interview.
So, Doug, I got to ask you, you've had a lot of accomplishments. One of the things I'm probably going to do, my wife gets tired of me watching ski movies, snowboard movies. It's like almost a daily occurrence. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to find some Warren Miller films with Doug Lewis in it as well. And but what is that accomplishment, that moment in sports that you're most proud of when you look back on your career?
The easy answer is everything to do with that bronze medal. That bronze medal was won in 1985 on February 5th, but when I earned it was the 10 years of struggle and grit through that. So I always think back to that medal of what it really means is all that work. And that's the day that it all came together. It was icy. It was cold. It was on a tough course in Bormio. And it came together. But for me, I think every time that I made it to the finish of Kitzbühel again is the strife. It's the Hahnenkamm. It's this crazy course on the downhill
Yankee
circuit.
Stadium of skiing.
Is Yankee Stadium that will kill you. And and so I think I got fifth there. I got 2 top 10s at Kitzbühel. So I almost regard them better than my bronze medal because it came on Kitzbühel. It came on tough conditions. It came in the face of injury and risk. And I just remember every time I came through that finish, 5th, 10th, 25th, 50th, I had done something special making it to the bottom of Kitzbühel.
Yeah.
Maybe the Oakland Raiders' old football stadium is what we would call it.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to an Oakland Raiders football game and not a fan of the Raiders?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
I think you got to be like, you got to be the opposite of a Raider fan in Oakland with a earthquake, rain,
Right.
hail, and they're throwing stuff at you.
Right.
I think I did an injustice earlier in the podcast, and I pulled us out of this little rabbit hole we were on too damn early because I wanted to learn more about your awesome elite team program. But you were diving into your 100-mile world and that dark, crazy. And what was happening in my mind is like, wait a second, this is this high-performance athlete, this 2-minute athlete, bombing down a hill and then finding this beautiful peace and solitude in the 24-hour journey of just turning himself inside out. You get the liberty right now to take us right back into that rabbit hole, man, because I love that world myself. Talk to us about some of your greatest experiences here in your 50s now on that journey.
Yeah, and well, I wasn't crazy. A lot of things I do are crazy, but I started with the marathon, then I went to the 50K, then I went to the 50 miler, I did the 100K, and then I worked my way up. I am a smart athlete. I may not be doing smart things, but I know how to build up. So I built up. I made the mistakes of hydration. I made the mistakes of footwear. I made the mistakes of blisters. I did all that and learned from that. And I read a lot and I asked questions, and I was the fan boy. I just ran the rim to rim to rim Grand Canyon, and I passed Jim Walmsley. Like, that is Michaela Schifrin to me, right? I almost turned around and just started watching him. So I'm a fanboy in this sport of running. So last summer I did my 4th ultra, 100 miler. It was in Switzerland, and it was wonderful. But it was 100 miles, and it was 32,000 vertical feet. Oh. So I don't even know how to describe that. It's a lot. And so I can just remember I'm 24 hours into it. So I'm 8 a.m. the next day, and I am crying, emotionally crying into my bowl of spaghetti. Not because I was going to quit. There was no way I was going to quit. I just didn't know if I could make it. Like, I had never been to that point mentally and physically where I don't know if I can do it. And luckily my wife was there, and she's my best cheerleader, and she got me out of there, and I turned it around and wiped away my tears and loaded up and kept on going. It's that one foot in front of the other and set those little baby goals. But that's looking back is just, it gives me the shivers. It gets me emotional, but that's what I love. So that's what I'm after. My next one is I'm doing one of those big backyard things where you do 4 miles every hour until there's one winner. So that's my next thing I'm going to do. And it's going to take 200 miles to win it. I've never gone over 100. So that's going to be all new territory. Mile 101.
So we don't know if the nut is too loose or the nut's too tight, as you said earlier in the I love it, man.
I don't know if I'm missing something or I got too much of something, but I just, but I want to get it back to quote unquote regular people, because I'm a regular person in other aspects of my life. But it's those little goals. And I said how I built up to it. If you've never done a 10K, start with a 5K, start with a mile. You're going to do it. You're going to fall in love with it if you stay with it, and you're going to get that confidence from that first 5K. And then you're going to sign up for a 10K, and it doesn't have to be ultra, but get off the couch, as Joe says, and just sign up for something and do it. Win, lose, fail. You're going to learn something. It's going to be amazing. And then you're going to just build on that. And taking that first step is the biggest thing. So just do it.
Doug, one of these days, I really, really hope we can get you in what we call the DEKA Arena. And we're going to be hosting an event here in just a few weeks here in Denver. And we would love to have you as our guest to come and participate. And, it's one of those things I think where we all three of us relate. It's all about every level of fitness out there. And it's building their confidence, building their self-esteem. Like, yeah, we know you want to maybe take off the weight, get stronger, feel better, but really we want to put smiles on people's faces. And I think we're all in that game together. And I just appreciate everything that you've shared with us. There's some key phrases in here that I think fit really well with our mission on this podcast. One, you got to have love and passion for what you do. The other one, work ethic. You can't cheat it if you're going to be the best at it. I think also what I loved is failure. It's such a great lesson, and it just makes us better. We can't be our best without that. These are all notes I'm taking while you're speaking. And then I love your passion to impact others. I feel like it's authentic, it's sincere. And knowing a little bit more about Elite Team, I think that's what makes what you're doing with those athletes so special. And I just, and I know Yancy feels the same. It's just a true honor to have you on and share that, because you're at such a high caliber. But man, I feel like I could be having this conversation with you anywhere in the world right now, and I appreciate your authenticity.
Thank you. I just, it's my passion. And luckily I found it 30 years ago after I retired and was kind of confused for a while. But, there's moments every day at Elite Team. We run camps, clinics, online programs, but there's moments every day at Elite Team where that young 14-year-old female or male has a breakthrough. And for a coach to give that to a young person is amazing, because that's just going to snowball into success, whatever they choose down the road.
Yep.
I appreciate you. I'm going to be honest. My favorite part of this whole podcast is when I think you literally forgot the question, and something that we asked you sparked the story. You said, give me a few minutes here. And you said, it basically boiled down to just enjoy the powder, man. And you enjoyed the powder with those guys and girls that were getting ready they're racing for that medal at the Olympics. And you're like, wow, they're out here enjoying the powder. That was my mic drop for this episode, my friend. I think a lot more parents and coaches, as we talked about on a previous episode, parents and coaches need to hear that piece right there, because that relates to every sport. I mean, if it's football practice and it's muddy, sometimes I don't care if you're a bunch of teenagers, just run and slide through the damn mud. Enjoy the mud. Enjoy the powder. That was I think I appreciate you for sharing that.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to think, why'd you get into it in the first place? I got into ski racing because I love to ski, and I still love to ski. And too many, let's just hope that not too many programs, I see some programs in some places, they crush the kids, and the kids get through into high school, they graduate high school, and they'll never ski again, or they'll never play football again. And we've lost them. So keep that love alive, because we want them to be 58-year-old football players, not getting hurt.
Well,
Virgin
Doug,
knees, man. Virgin knees. That's awesome.
Doug, I just want to say cheers to more powder days for you out there in Utah. You guys have definitely some of the best. So maybe one day our paths will cross out there, and I'll be able to get a few turns in with you.
I hope so, and I hope one day we can enter some kind of Spartan race together and show Joe that we can take him on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you, Doug.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Spartan Up. Do you want to be ready for anything? Download Joe's free ebook at spartan.com/readyforanything. Do you know someone who needs a little help staying motivated, staying informed, getting or staying mentally and physically resilient? We're here 3 days every week with a mix of content to help you stay strong, from mindset to nutrition and everything in between. Listen every Tuesday to hear Joe DeSena, Spartan Race founder and CEO. And the rest of the week, join us for DEKA, Endurance, and Classic episodes. See you next time. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Honey Stinger, made with organic honey and delicious ingredients. Use the code SpartanAthlete30 at honeystinger.com for 30% off to help you sweeten the burn.